Hello students. So now we will start the next chapter of physics and the name of the chapter is Force and Laws of Motion. So in the previous chapter we described the motion of an object along a straight line in terms of its position, velocity and acceleration. We saw that such a motion can be uniform or non-uniform. We have not yet discovered what causes the motion. Why does the speed of an object change with time? Do all motions require a cause? If so, what is the nature of this cause? In our everyday life, we observe that some effort is required to put a stationary object into motion or to stop a moving object. Pushing, hitting, and pulling of objects are all ways of bringing objects in motion. So, force is an effort in the form of push or pull that changes or tends to change the position of an object. This is the definition of force. Next is balanced and unbalanced force. So here's a figure in which a wooden block is there. Two strings X and Y are tied to the two opposite faces of the block. If we apply a force by pulling the string X, the block begins to move to the right. Similarly, if we pull the string Y, the block will begin to move towards the left. But if the block is pulled from both the sides with equal forces, the block will not move. Such forces are called balanced forces and that causes no change in the state of motion of an object. Now let us consider a situation in which two opposite forces of different magnitudes pull the block. In this case, the block would begin to move in the direction of the greater force. Thus the two forces are said to be unbalanced forces. Next is the concept of friction. Suppose there is a box, fine, and there are two friends A and B that are pushing this box, fine, not pulling, they are pushing this box, fine. Now this object is placed on a floor, right? If they push the box with a small force, the box does not move because of friction acting in a direction opposite to the push. This friction force arises between two surfaces in contact. Now, since this frictional force is balancing the forces applied by A and B, therefore the box will not move. And if the two friends push the box still harder, the pushing force becomes bigger than the frictional force. There is an unbalanced force, so the box starts moving. So the next topic is first law of motion. So I want to tell you that there are three laws of motion which were introduced by Newton, and we also say that Newton's law of motion. So now we will study the first law of motion, and that states an object remains in a state of rest or of uniform motion in a straight line unless compelled to change that state by an applied force. In other words, and in simple words, you can say all objects resist a change in their state of motion. If a body is at rest, it will continue to be at rest unless and until a force is applied on it. Similarly, if a body is moving, it will continue to move unless and until a force is applied on it to stop it. I'm going to repeat if an object is moving, it will continue to move unless and until a force is applied to it to stop the object. And if a body is at rest, it will continue to be at rest unless and until a force is applied to move it. Fine? So the next term is inertia. The tendency of undisturbed object to stay at rest or to keep moving with the same velocity is called inertia. You learned in the first law of motion that the object will resist a change in their state of motion, right? So this tendency, the tendency of the object to stay at rest or to keep moving with the same velocity is called inertia. The next topic is inertia and mass. Okay, so if a body is at rest, it tends to remain at rest, and if a body is moving, it tends to keep moving. This property of an object is called its inertia, right? Now tell me, do all bodies have the same inertia? We know that it is easier to push an empty box than a box full of books, right? Similarly, if I kick a football, it flies away. But if we kick a stone of the same size with equal force, it hardly moves. We may get an injury in our foot while doing so, right? So clearly, heavier objects or more massive objects offer larger inertia. The inertia of an object is therefore a measurement of its mass. We may thus relate inertia and mass as follows. Inertia is the natural tendency of an object to resist a change in its state of motion or of rest. The mass of an object is therefore a measure of its inertia because heavier or massive objects offer larger inertia as compared to lighter objects. So that's it for today. I will send the next part soon. Thank you.